Well, Coach Chad has been staying real busy over the entire year of 2020, working on his game, working on new content to share with everyone, and I'm so excited to launch the Chess Zone coaching series AAA. Always awesome A plus chess. Alright, y'all. Coach Chad's here to give you all a quick lesson. Yeah, it's gonna be a quick lesson. But we gotta get in the zone first. Finish the song first. Alright. Alright. Welcome to the Chess Zone with Coach Chad today. I hope you guys are ready for a nice game that I've made for my series. This is from the coaching series AAA for awesome chess. It's awesome. All A's. A plus, always awesome. So, this game is called the Polish Spike versus the Modern Defense. And we have an Immortal Battery checkmate that I just couldn't resist sharing. So without further ado, let's jump into it. First move we have here for white is going to be an interesting one. It's b4. Okay, so normally a lot of times we see e4, d4 is common first move, but today we're going to play b4, which immediately exposes the rook on a1 to attacks from the modern defense, so it's quite common to see your opponent come back at you with the modern defense when you start out with this b4 opening, which is also called the Polish opening, or sometimes the Polish spike. So we have knight f6, developing the Queen's Indian knight, and white continues as intended with the bishop to b2. Obviously you have that open long diagonal on the dark squares. You want to take advantage of it, and so that's what we've done in this game. Followed by g6. Again, black has the idea of wanting to play the modern defense since this dark square diagonal is going to be up for grabs the whole game. We want to fight over these squares, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. White develops their knight. It gives the bishop a little bit of protection. Again, we're still in the opening sequence. We want to get some pieces out and fight over these central squares here. Now these knights are both aimed at the same squares, so it's pretty interesting. Although this pawn is undefended on b4, so nothing's attacking it, but it's also not really defended. Is that a gambit? Perhaps. It's a gambitish idea for sure. So next move, black continues their development idea, and we have fianchettos aimed at each other. So right there, and then right back at ya. Interesting. So queen to b1. This is where white is definitely no longer following a straight book theory. We haven't developed our bishop or our other knight from the g1 square. Instead, we're moving our queen. We haven't done anything to get our rook involved, just trapping him around in his own pieces. So, what is white's idea? And it's important to, as black, you're tempted to take a quick castle here, but should you develop a piece, we could bring the knight here, and then we'd be attacking here. But one thing that I remember from this game is that the queen is now defending this bishop here, so keep that in mind, and we'll keep watching here. So black castles, as we could expect, but not gaining an advantage in development yet. Knight to e4 is where things now are really interesting. Because we're just giving up a knight here. I mean, knight takes knight, but what's wrong? What's up with this? Why? I mean, how do you reject this gambited knight here? But if you do take it, you got to remember we have this line here, which is not how the game played itself, but it's worth contemplating. What happens here when now the king is forced to recapture to remain equal, and now you might see this idea of queen b2 since the queen is at b1, now checking the king. Knight retreats to f6 to block that check, and g4 becomes interesting because now we have a pin here, and so g4 is interesting. So it's a crazy game, crazy ideas. That was the idea behind the gambit, is we play something like this. So that brings us back to knight e4, this gambit idea. Black just plays the d6 move, which turns out to not really buy enough time. Now we get to knight capture, recapture with the pawn, and now we still have this nice defensive structure going on for black. King is pretty safe, but white has an aggressive kingside attack that they're willing to take, because since the queen has the flexibility to get to the dark squared fianchetto, it can replace the bishop's ability. So black is looking for developing moves. Where do we take the bishop? Do we block in the knight? Do we get the knight involved? I would have thought maybe knight over here so that we could be attacking with a little bit more tempo, but of course pawn could just move forward, so hard to say. But another idea would have been just take that gambit pawn on g4. White's playing really aggressive. However, h3, bishop back to h5. Interesting game. Black probably has a really strong advantage here. This probably would have punished the g4 move pretty sharply. But it was a bullet game, and we were playing quick, so now we see g5. Black takes that developing move with their knight to d7, and gives black the chance to keep on the attack against the king side. And now we see that bishop capture move, forcing the king to use a little bit of energy early on at move 9. We have the king already moving, disrupted the castle defenses, and now we see queen b2 giving check. Now we have a few options. We can move, block. We can't take the queen, so we can either block with the knight, or we can block the queen. We can step out of the way with either one of those moves. In this game, black chose to retreat the king, just back to where he was. Another little bit more interesting, probably better idea for black to win a solid game would be just block with the queen. Queen takes queen, because otherwise we're hanging our rook here. Knight takes, and I don't see solid justification for white's opening gambits with the pawns on the wings. Nevertheless, it was a really fast-paced game, and hard to refute that without really taking time to sit and think. We have h4 now, after the king had retreated back to his safe light-colored square on g8. Sorry. So we see this g pawn taking that another free pawn. I mean, white, what are you doing? You need your pawns. Pawns are the soul of chess, right? Why not just? But we get to develop a knight now to h3. The knight's solid because no longer has to worry about any threats with the pawn moving forward here quite yet. We're going to see that threat coming. And it was also created a double attack, so the pawn wanted to move forward to h3 for black. But again, unfortunately our knight's blocking in the bishop, so we got no defense here. Just change colors here. No defense. So bishop takes the free pawn. We could also take with the rook, but this rook's a little bit more comfortable hiding on this semi-open h-file now. And knight develops out, allowing for, if if white's not paying attention, now this attacker comes in, we can figure something out there. There's a knight takes with check. Interesting move, but it's a little bit too slow. And white can take the initiative. Capturing first, rook has to recapture, otherwise that's a free piece that the bishop would have just retreated. And we get to recapture in the center, and pawn recaptures the knight. They maintain this advantage. Now we have rooks and queens versus rooks and queens. It's just the pawns are a little bit crazy. White's pawns are all in the center here, but black has two different armies on the wings, which is exactly what white wanted out of this opening. Black didn't punish their ideas early, and now white has gotten what they wanted out of the Polish spike, really sharp attacking aimed at the king side. Queen retakes that pawn in the center, and rook comes with a counterattack. Interesting, you want to look at this. Also is x-raying the king in a long, distant future, but the queen's got to respond. We can't lose our queen here. So we come back to h2. This is a sneaky move because it looks like we were just defending our queen, but actually we are attacking while defending. So it's a very sharp move here, and we come back and we see we've given up this idea for red, or for the that you see here highlighted. We could get mated on the other way, right? But it's a fast game, you gotta pay attention, and white is first to check and first to mate. Really, really sharp game. Really fun attack. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you pull off a similar win in the Polish spike, I would love to see it. Definitely let me know. And thanks for watching. I'm going to post this game and with additional written commentary. Go ahead and give that a like if you have the chance to. And of course, share with your chess community. Thanks for watching.
The Chess Zone is brought to you by coffeeforDessert.com.